Hi, and welcome to My Wildlife Year Week 36, nearly 3/4 of the way through the year now. What I've been up to this week, well, I did my first online owl pellet analysis workshop. That actually, everyone participated in it. I'd sent them out owl pellets, so it seemed to work quite well. There was a bit of a technical hitch. I pre-recorded a presentation to go out, but there was some IT issues and the presentation never converted into proper format for me to use, so I had to actually do it live. So it was a bit nerve-wracking doing the whole workshop live, doing a PowerPoint presentation via Zoom, which I'd never done before. I'd done stuff in Zoom before but never used PowerPoint on it, and then I also had to hook up my camera with a tripod and aiming it down so that I could do a dissection live during the Zoom workshop using Zoom. So it all seemed to go quite well. I've got another one set up for the Monday the 5th of October, if I remember right. So that'll be £30, booking in all my links in my bio on social media. And if you look for GW, search for GW Ecology on Eventbrite, you'll find it as well. This week I've actually the end of last week, I was struggling a bit with my mental health, just feeling really stressed and a bit depressed, and my daughter, she just sort of at certain times just go out into your office and just do what you do out there with your wildlife, and go and look at stuff and whatever, just go in that. She knows how to relax, and it does. It's making contact with getting out with the natural world does help my mental health, and it helps others as well. So if it is something that's helps your mental health, if you are feeling a bit stressed or everything's getting a bit top of you or you're feeling really low, just go out into the natural world, and if that's what does it for you, get involved. But if there is something that's lifts your spirits, go and do it. Don't let I know sometimes it can be really hard to get that motivation to go and do something, but just go and do it, and don't be afraid to say to people, I'm feeling really, rough at the minute, or I'm finding it going through a difficult time. Just go and do it. So, anyway, let's get on with My Wildlife Year Week 36. Just start with a wee short video of Chonky, who's still in care, having a wee bit of a chomp on some mealworms before we got in with the rest of it. Right, well, I've ordered this little device here. It's another clip-on lens, but it's a bit of a different macro lens from other ones, because this one has its own light source, and it's got quite good magnification. It says times 100 on it. It's not times 100, but I'm not sure what they're saying. What is 100 of? But it's not making things 100 times bigger. That's for certain. But anyway, it's still quite a good macro lens, so I'm going to pop it on this camera, phone, and see what it looks like. Right, so I've popped it on the phone, and you open the lens cover, and there it is there. And that's me closing the lens cover again. Open it, it switches the light on, and what have I got here? Into close. That's pretty good. Anyone want to guess what that is? Well, you probably wouldn't be surprised to find out it's a type of poo. But that's the poo there. It's bat poo. So that is pretty good going for this little thing here to magnify and get in close. So it's going to be really useful for for small invertebrates and that, to get close. And you just charge it with a micro USB charger there, and as I say, it says a times 100. It's not a times 100, but it's a nice little clip-on sort of like macro lens. So I'll show you again. There you are, and just find what you're looking for, zoom in on it, and you can take some nice photos too. That's not bad at all. Yeah, so cost about £14 I think it was. Bit more expensive than some of my other macro lenses, which were just a few pounds, but having that light source there, that makes a big difference. You know, some of the ones that I have, like this macro lens, clip-on macro lens here, nice and big and sort of like clips on there nicely. That's it there. You can see the difference. It's not quite as, you know, close up, and also you've got a shadow coming across here because the light source is coming in from this side. You can see that's me covering the light source, but if I cover that light source and to get rid of the shadow, it's still not great light. You know, for a lot of these ones I would have to actually put on an artificial light source, but then you're playing about with it and you know, you're having to try and get the angles. Bit awkward. Whereas for this one, you just put it on and the light source is right there. So charge it with a micro USB charging port there. I'm actually quite chuffed with it. I think it's really good, you know, good value for money. I'm hoping that it's good quality and it'll last. I would expect for £14 that it's actually going to last. You know, I know you can pick up some stuff, you know, sort of like with micro, you know, USB charging and all that, you know, just for a couple of quid, and it just doesn't last long. But I'm expecting this to be a bit better if I'm spending over a tenner on it. So, be looking forward to seeing what I see with it over the next few weeks. Right, I've got a butterfly come in. I think it's a small tortoiseshell. Oh, don't fly off. Don't fly off. Stay in the window, that's it. No. I think it's looking for somewhere to hibernate. Not going to be in here. Right, just take it and release it outside. Right, I'm just heading across. Rachel's got me helping out at Little Fishies and then the after school Friday fun. I'm just heading over to that marquee over there. And the craft activity today is making an owl, a paper owl. And that gives me a good excuse to do some owl pellet dissection to show the kids. So it's good to be able to do stuff like this, and it's a nice, well, it's a relatively nice day. A bit dull, but it's actually really quite warm and muggy, so looking forward to it. So here's all my stuff. I've got some owl booklets to show them owls, and then I've got owl talons, an owl skull, also some small mammal skulls, and some owl pellets to dissect as well. Right, so I've just been dissecting some owl pellets, an owl pellet, and I've had a field vole and two shrews. One was a common shrew, quite a small common shrew. I thought it was pygmy at first, but it's just a small common shrew. And then this bigger one here, and look at that front tooth, the way it's hooked out. That tells me it's a water shrew. Wow, I am so chuffed to have a water shrew skull. I'm really pleased as well. I got another skull in my next pellet, and it's an entirely intact field vole skull. So that'll definitely be getting added to my collection, along with the water shrew skull.
Come on, buddy. Thank you very much.
My daddy's coming beautiful legs. Here's my beautiful thingy.
You want to do it?
Just spotted this small tortoiseshell. It's amazing, we've had a really poor year for butterflies, but just the last couple of weeks there's been lots around. There it goes. This bee turned up, you can just see faintly the markings on it. It's got markings of, well, I assume this is a buff-tailed, but it could just be a white-tailed with a very dark tail. It's hard to tell, but yeah, it's really dark. Turned up in the living room. At first I thought it was actually a completely black bumblebee, but it's just amazingly dark. How cool is that? Right, so I forgot to do a myth-busting, wildlife myth-busting section last week, so I'm going to do one this week. And Simon Watson, who watches the videos on YouTube and regularly comments, please do, if you're watching these videos, feel free to comment, and either on YouTube or on IGTV. And he asked whether it was true that a goose or a swan could break your arm with its wings, and basically the answer is yes in theory, but you'd have to be really unlucky for that to happen, because basically they have to get up quite a sort of like amount of momentum, and by the time if you're near a goose or a swan that's sort of like, you know, that angry and sort of a, get out of there before it does some damage to you. So in theory yes, the answer is, but in reality not really, no. You know, you'd have to be really unlucky and be really slow, and also be totally oblivious to the fact that there's a, you know, a swan or a goose sort of coming towards you, flapping its wings, and not get out of the way in time. So yeah, it's one of those ones where the answer is yeah, in theory, but no, in reality. This is the second almost completely black bumblebee has been in the house. Now there is, I don't know whether you'll be able to see, there is some slight markings on it, and I think it's either a buff-tailed or a white-tailed, but it is so dark, it's unbelievable. Anyway, I'll let it go. Look at the size of that big frog in the pond. Huge! I'm so pleased. Pond in here now. I've just seen, I think that's actually a drowned leopard slug. Maybe it's not. It's actually moving. Just behind frog, and there's actually a snail on the frog itself. Coming out and looking at your pond at night is actually really interesting. Anyway, I better go and shut up the hens and then go and collect my daughter from work. I've just taken this robin out it's stuck in the hen enclosure, so I'm just going to release it. There it goes, into the hedge. I'm hoping you can see this, but can you see 1, 2, 3 frogs? How cool is that? I'm looking to see whether there's any more sticking up, but there's at least 3 frogs in my pond. So I'm really hopeful that come spring next year, this pond is going to have some frog spawn in it. Had the moth trap out for the night. Yeah.
and for the first time in a long time I haven't got anything outside of it, so I'm wondering, is there going to be much in it? Let's go and see. I think there's maybe a couple of moths that I can see down in the dark recesses. I'll switch off the camera and get them out. Only 8, but I think I've got 6 different species in there. Just go and check them.
There was only 9 moths in the moth trap, but there was 6 different species. There was lesser yellow underwing, canary shouldered thorn, brown spot pinion, silver Y, a lovely dark swordgrass, and also a common marble carpet. But there's actually, here's just 3 of them, and they all look quite different because it's a very variable species. So, 9 moths but 6 different species is actually pretty good haul, in my opinion.
Well, I got a duo of wood mice in the humane traps in the kitchen this morning, so I'm just going to take them for release. Just a quick look, I knew this one down the bottom was a female, the one up the top's also a female.
So that's week 36 over and done with. Looking forward to week 37 next week. I'm still feeling a bit out of sorts, but doing these wildlife year, my wildlife year videos, weekly videos, certainly does help me, and gives me something to focus on. So coming up in the next couple of weeks, I've got a couple of things that I'm hoping to happen, but we've got some car issues at the minute, so it all depends. So I'm not going to say for definite, but things that are definitely happening is that as I've already said, I'm doing another oil pellet workshop. I do have some bat walks in the diary as well, which is really good. I'm looking forward to doing them, and possibly a few other bat related things, and also a small mammal related thing, as long as I've got transport for them to come off at the right time of year. So I'll look forward to seeing you for my wildlife year, week 37. So stay safe and keep enjoying the wildlife. Cheers.